Well, I guess I consider myself more of an accidental artist than an artist. In high school, I was back and forth between majoring in art or biology when I got to college. I knew I was always going to college. My folks told me that. Biology won out as a result of advanced courses I took both in art and in biology in high school, my senior year. So I've always had an interest in art. But I started around 2011 when I saw some work by Ouida Touchon, who is a local printmaker. She had learned a new technique called gelatin monoprinting, and I fell in love with it. We bought one of her early prints using that technique. In fact, I have it in the dining room. It was a type of printing that I thought I could do because it didn't require a lot of big equipment. And I started to think about maybe I can combine my digital photography with this form of printmaking. And basically you just take a sheet of gelatin, it's like you place it in a cookie sheet, so you have about a ½ an inch thick sheet of gel, and that becomes a printing plate. And then you take paints, and I use usually metallic acrylic paints, and you put a thin layer on the gel. Or sponges to create different textures, which removes some of the paint. And then you take your paper and you press it to it. Your hands become the printing press. And then when you pull the paper away, it removes most of the paint from the gel, and it's now on the paper. And then you clean the gel with water, add another color to it, or take a comb and run it through. Maybe put a stencil on it, so just part of the gel is showing through. You place the paper back down on, press again, pull it away, and build up a series of different colors. And that becomes the hectograph or the gelatin monoprint. Well, it's sort of like finger painting, and you have no idea what you're going to come up with because you put paints down and you do some things, and you put the paper down and you pull it up, you say, oh, maybe it needs a little red. So I'll do a little piece of area of red, and I put it down, and I look at it and say, maybe one more color. I went too far. But I keep them anyway, and sometimes I find some of my photos just work with something that I didn't find very appealing at the time, but it just works. And then I need to scan it into the computer. And then I think most of the time it takes when I get into the computer and then start looking at my photographs, seeing what might work, working with the photograph to expose as much of the background as possible. I have to remove a lot of the sky and some of the bottom part of the photograph so that the background can be seen. So that takes a little while. And oftentimes it takes many different photographs before I say I like that combination. And we'll continue to work with that to finish the product. And then after that, when I find something I like, I then coat the monoprint with a special coating that allows it to be printed on with an inkjet printer, basically turn it into photo paper. But I find the same thing when I'm working on the monoprints or just staring at the computer, playing with my pictures. Everything else goes away. It's just very relaxing and calming, and I think that's what a lot of artists get out of doing art. I don't have any real philosophy on my photography or what I'm coming up with, just that if it makes me feel good when I do it, then I hope other people feel good to see it. I have a little website, naidazucker.myportfolio.com. That is something that anyone can do in their kitchen, and it will be good for school children as well. It's a little more sophisticated than finger painting, but it has the same organic feel to it, and you just never know what you can come up with.